corner we take them to.
That's
they
right.
find the family.
Good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Limestone County Commission meeting of October 7th, 2019. Pam, do we have any public comment?
Yes, sir. The first up is Rihanna Knight.
Ms. Knight, would you mind stepping up to the microphone, please?
Good morning, ladies, gentlemen, and the County Commission. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Rihanna Knight. I am 15 years old, and I am a sophomore at Athens Renaissance School. Now, why I'm here today is because I believe that the Athens Limestone Public Library should be getting more commission than it was recently granted. I understand if it's too late this year for that to be reversed, but I would appreciate if that could be fixed in the future. I actually am an illegal alien per se, technically not illegal because I'm not from around here. I was born in Lakeland, Florida, about close to Tampa, about an hour away. And I moved up here, and the library has become a second home to me. The staff and other patrons are so supportive of me and everything I do. And if the library has to, say, cut hours, cut programs, I know that the staff and other patrons will suffer. And we all come together as a community. When we're at the library, there's no differences between any of us. And I feel like if the library suffers, we will all feel the effects. We will all suffer with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Knight. Thank you. Any more, Pam?
Lloyd Davies.
Good morning. My name is Lloyd Davies, and I live at 13222 Highway 31 South in Athens. And I want to share with you why I believe libraries are important cornerstones of a healthy community. Libraries give people the opportunity to find jobs, explore medical research, experience new ideas, get lost in wonderful stories, while at the same time providing a sense of a place of gathering. Our library is a unique and valuable resource. Once an abandoned grocery store, now a driving force to community gatherings and endless education. Libraries are an important cornerstones of a healthy community. Libraries give people the opportunity to find jobs, explore medical research, experience new ideas, get lost in wonderful stories, while at the same time provide a place, a sense of gathering. The Limestone County Library reflects the diversity and character, the needs and expectations of our community. Those needs and expectations are often extensive and the services invaluable. The library is often the only readily available source of comprehensive information needed by people for personal, family, job-related purposes. Our community's economy benefits when businesses use the library to make wise business decisions, employees use it to improve job skills, or the disadvantages to help break the cycle of poverty. During economic hardship, our citizens turn to and depend upon the library for resources to educate them, to upgrade enhance their abilities to improve conditions. Over summer vacations, evenings, and weekends, the library is the only library available to school children. For preschoolers, it's simply the only library available. College students often use the library when they are at home for the weekend or holidays, and the reference resources in public libraries are usually unavailable elsewhere in the community. Our library is a unique and valuable resource. It is a lifeline to the world and all the information in it. Yet we struggle to keep up with the many changes in technology, rising cost in books and other materials, staff and budget shortages, and a growing demand from our customers for more information. As members of this community, one who appreciates the history and opportunities this institution has provided, I ask you to please make a commitment to support and protect our library. The intellectual and economic health of our community depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davies. Any more, Pam?
Rebecca Crooms.
Ms. Graham?
Hi, good morning, gentlemen. I know 3/5 of the commission from my former job at the newspaper, so I know we've had some conversations before about how tough financial decisions have to be made, especially when it comes to roads and paving. But I'm here as well with the others to respectfully request that you reconsider your funding decisions in regards to the library. Full disclosure, I did work at the library for the better part of this year, but nobody asked me to be here today. I came of my own volition. So, as Rhiannon said also, I understand if it's too late for things to happen this year, but there's still plenty of time for you to at least go sit in the library. especially when it opens. Several days there were people waiting outside for the doors to open so they could come in and make use of all the resources available. Come in on Tuesdays when the Master Gardeners have their question and answer booth to anybody at the community to come use that resource for free. Come on Tuesdays for the used book sale. There are several retired seniors, the same seniors that will come every week to sell these books, spend time together, fellowship, and make connections with families in the community. Come on Wednesdays for the children's story time. The library had record-breaking numbers of children in attendance, especially this summer for summer reading programs, and that provides a much-needed early literacy intervention for children across your whole spectrum of socioeconomic conditions here in Limestone County, and some for children that are even on the autism spectrum. Talk to Miss Amanda, the youth librarian. She has become a statewide resource for autism reading intervention. She hosts a special spectrum story time to cater to children with those needs. And the library even hosted a autism skills camp this summer that was very well attended. As far as the financials, I can say there's nothing to hide. I don't want to speak for Laura, but I mean, it's a very tightly run ship. It's one of the best run places I've ever worked at. So I would just, again, ask you to respectfully reconsider your decision, or at least just spend time at the library getting to know the staff that works there and the people that are impacted. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. Thank you. Thank you.
James Hickman.
Mr. Hickman, you mind stepping up to the microphone, please, sir?
Sure, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, everyone. I'm Jim Hickman. I'm from Heritage Estates in East Limestone County. And let me see if I can pick up on some of the things that the other people said. The most popular institution in any community back in the country happens to be the public libraries. 91%. By the way, there's extensive Pew research on libraries, what they are, what they do, how important they are to people. And I would hope that before you made a 40% cut, I look at it as a 62% cut because they requested $135,000. So 91% say libraries are important. To their communities, 76% say they're important to them and their families. 98% of anyone who's ever visited a library say the interactions are very positive, and 50% of the visitors got help from a librarian. Now, we have to see this as a punitive cut because most of the entities that you fund were level funded or they were plussed up. And so let me say let me add to what Mr. Davies said. Who are those that are most affected by it? Pew Research again. Women, African Americans, Hispanics, adults living in lower income households, adults with lower levels of education attainment, those searching for a job, those living with a disability, and those who lack home internet services. And I know that you all know penetration is not 100% in this county. I know you've been working on it, but it's not there yet. And some who have it, it's inadequate. So the library is not just a library. It's a community center. It's a home for all of these people and more. And what pains me is you should be actually expanding library services, not cutting them. And the final thing I would like to say, I am actually an uninformed citizen. Why? Because the county commission should be a trusted source for what is happening in the community and what is happening in the budget. I'm one of your customers. out of the 90,000 plus that are in the county. But I'm uninformed because the trusted source should be the county commission. And I'm sorry to say it's not there. This discussion is raging in the community. But none of us have the facts. And we don't have the facts because there's nothing that we can consult that would tell us what the facts are. How did it come up? What was the discussion? What was the vote? Do you not believe that a 40% cut represents a 40% reduction in services? There's no reason for me to think otherwise because you haven't given me a reason to. Who voted what? I understand if you drill down, the vote to approve the cut was 3-1. So all we needed was one more vote to not do the cut to bring the chairman into effect. I think from reading the county commissioner's handbook that there is a process where you can actually amend the budget during the current fiscal year. And so my request would be, and I think everybody in the room would agree, why not revisit the issue? Why not involve the community in something that is absolutely important to everyone in this community? And why not let us join in, let us help you? Why not have a public hearing on this issue and this issue alone? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hickman. Pam, do we have any more?
Jocelyn Breuer.
All right.
Good morning. I'm Jocelyn Brower. I live at 113 Wesley Clark Boulevard. That is just west of County Line Road. We do pay Limestone County taxes. And, you know, maybe I'm a good perspective to bring to this as well. I'm here, number one, because I'm a mom. There's maybe a lot of dads sitting here, but the women are home. We got into a position with our family. We were both working full time. I couldn't afford to have a second child. My husband went back to school to try to make more money. In the meantime, I was staying home with the children. The library was a much needed resource for me. My parents were school teachers. I grew up reading. My children have been reading. That's part of what, you know, when we have problems, I say go to education, get educated, learn, grow. But I don't want to put too much of my time on that. I will tell you, the library here, you need to not cut, you need to expand your money. The hours are not good for working for stay-at-home moms with young children. These kids are up 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And when your library opens at 10 o'clock, they are climbing the walls. I will tell you, I'm at a library at 9 a.m. with my young children when they were growing up here. Madison City Libraries, they open at 9 every day. They close at 8 p.m. That includes, that's going to help out those teenagers that need a place to go after school. They don't get home until 4 o'clock from the buses. The parents get home at 5. Your library closes at 5 o'clock. That closes the door on a place for teenagers to hang out. I also volunteer. I say volunteer. I make a little money subbing with the schools as well. I think of it as volunteering because I want to be involved in the community and what's going on. So I hear people around the community complaining about our children. Why are they just roaming the streets? Let's all contribute as a group and give them something to do. I always grew up hearing it takes a village. We all need to keep an eye on our children, make sure they're doing what they need to do. Now, I also want to say from another perspective, let's talk dollars. I also want to say your library's closed on Sunday, too. It could be open in the afternoons. That's really hard as well. That's when some of the kids are trying to get their homework done. They need to have those places to study. They need computers. It's a big part. Unfortunately, I remember when I was growing up, we had those Encyclopedia Britannicas, but we just don't have those anymore. The people are looking up on the computer and doing a lot of research that way. So now I'm going to talk dollars, which I know you guys are big on too. I moved here for my husband's job in engineering. Like I said, he went back to school. He got a job here, and we were looking for a place to live. As you know, Madison City has run out of places to build homes. You guys are taking the brunt of that, and you need to be you need to be competitive. I know if I came here, I love Limestone County. I mean, it's beautiful. If I was looking at a place to live and your schools and you had the services that were right next door, I would live here. I would choose to have more property. I mean, we were on a lake in Vicksburg, Mississippi at the Army Corps of Engineers. That's what I chose to do. But the schools weren't cutting it for me, and that's why we moved here. And women have a big part of those decisions to make, too, in a family. So just keep that in mind. I mean, if the property values in Madison City are much higher, and it's a big part is because of those schools and the resources they offer those families. So that's something to look at as well. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any more? Pam?
I have no further comment.
All right. No more public comment. Pam, would you please call roll?
Commissioner Samet,
Here.
Commissioner Turner,
Here.
Commissioner Black,
Here.
Commissioner Harrison.
Thank you. Commissioner Harris, you want to listen, please, today?
I think I can do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison. All right. First on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes from September the 11th and September 16th and October the 1st of 2019. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Turner. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Samet,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve claims in the amount of $2,163,741.19. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Samet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Samet,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Do we have any conflicts of interest for anything coming in front of the commission today? With everybody's silence, I'll take that as a no. First on here, on the resolution order, I'll ask for a motion to approve the State of Alabama Department of Corrections contract for the Limestone County Community Corrections Program beginning October the 1st of 2019 for an initial allocation of $270,424 reimbursable fundings of qualified offenders and authorizing Tony Gravitt as the director to execute the contract retroactive on September the 30th of 2019. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Samet. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Harrison. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Samet,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Black.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second on the list, I'll ask for a motion to approve agreement for Brad Slater Construction and Limestone County Commission for additions and improvements to the Limestone County EMA building pending county attorney approval. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Samet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Samet,
Aye.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Third on the list, I'll ask for a motion to approve fiscal year 2019 Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $41,676. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner,
Aye.
Commissioner Black,
Aye.
Commissioner Samet,
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next, on the budget revisions, I'll ask for a motion to approve A budget revision in the amount of $14,771 for council and agent. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black, second by Commissioner Sammet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. We have no emergency purchases, no board appointments. Under award of bids, I'll ask for a motion of printing numerical color-bound folders at the sheriff's office to business systems and consultants to have an amount of $1,305 to have such a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. On the personnel action, first on the list, I'll ask for a motion to approve hiring Ashley Dawn Macier as a corrections officer pending a drug screening. Do I have such a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sammet, second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. Second on the list, I'll ask for a motion to approve a part-time senior center aide job description for the council and agent. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sammet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. Third on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion to approve staffing plan to a part-time senior center aide for council and agent. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Any second?
Second.
All right. Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. Fourth on here, I'll ask to motion to remove the CDL requirement from the job description at the council and agent, officer, assistant, and the nutritionist coordinator. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Black. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sammet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. Fifth on here, I'll ask for a motion to hire David McLemore as a full-time equipment operator 1 in District 4. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Sammet. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Sixth on here, I'll ask for a motion to promote Sheila Vickers to case manager at the community corrections. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Turner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Harrison?
Motion carries unanimously. At this point, I'll turn it over to our engineer for the engineer's report, Mr. Massey.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we have 3 subdivisions for your consideration today. Harvest Road subdivision, this is a minor, preliminary, and final 9 lots in District 1, the corner of Harvest Road and East Limestone Road. We also have Chapel Hill Phase 1. This is a minor, preliminary, and final. It's 17 lots and 1 large tract in District 1. Northwest corner of Yarborough Road and Quarry Road. And then finally, we have Lonnie Dale subdivision. This is Phase 3. This is a major subdivision, so it's only up for preliminary approval today. 17 lots, District 2, intersection of St. John Road and Newby Chapel Road. That's all I have for your consideration today.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. I'll ask for a motion to approve the 3 subdivisions as presented by Mr. Massey.
I'll
Can I-
make the motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harrison. Have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Black. Any discussion? No discussion. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Harrison?
Aye.
Commissioner Black?
Aye.
Commissioner Sammet?
Aye.
Commissioner Turner?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We now have no other business, no scheduled public hearing. This time, I turn over the report to officers. Commissioner Sammet.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got an email last week from Representative Andy Whitt, who is sitting in on the Highway 53 project. I think this project's way overdue. It was brought on back during Guy Hunt days. I remember seeing maps in the 90s where they were reworking to do Highway 53. This is a well-needed project for the state of Alabama. Highway 53 is an embarrassment to the Alabama Department of Transportation. It's got a single lane in downtown Ardmore where tractor trailers cannot go through it. They depend on the city street and then Mooresville Road on that end to get back over to where they can come pick back up on Highway 53 right there out of downtown Ardmore. But I want to support Representative Whitt. I appreciate him doing what he's doing. Also, Senator Melson, and he's in contact with the representatives from Madison County. I think he'll really set in on it and do us a good job, and I want to support him in any way I can. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Sammet. Commissioner Turner?
Engineering department started in the district last week, and they made some good progress last week on the list of projects I had for them to do. And then we got rain today, so that's stopped them for today. But I'm sure they'll be back to work as soon as the weather is permitting.
Anything else? Thank you, Commissioner Turner. Commissioner Black?
Yeah, first off, Miss Knight, you did a fantastic job. I'm proud to see a 15-year-old young lady be able to come up and address a crowd like this. It really says a lot about you. So we are looking at options with libraries and funding for different areas. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and sometimes, you know, it does work out. So we're not haphazardly not discussing it. We are looking into other things, and we will have a report and have some information that we will be giving the public. So, second thing, Highway 53, it is very dangerous. I'm going to back Andy up about that and Senator Melson because it's not in my district, but it is in our county, and it is a very dangerous location. You got the overpass right there on 53 that if it rains 1.5 inches, I mean, you have cars that get flooded out under there. You have water standing as much as 4 and 5 feet deep under the only pass that goes under for 53, and that's unacceptable in today's time. And we keep talking about the infrastructure, and we keep talking about how we're going to get people to and from these different businesses, and that's something that really needs looking into. And if for no other reason, I think last week alone they had 4 traffic accidents that were on Highway 53 that's really bad. So I back you 100% on that. Other than that, we're just doing our routine stuff now. We're finishing up bush hogging, going around cleaning out tiles this morning, thank goodness, because we found out some of them are stopped up. And that's really, really good because we got rain. So thank the Lord for the rain. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Black. Commissioner Harrison?
Okay, I do want to express my thanks to the Lord for the rain. We really did need it. We finished up fog sealing on Linceville Road, West Limestone School Road, and Lydia Corey Road. This will give us a couple of different options on how we address our plant mix roads in the future. Linceville Road was a scrub seal. We made repairs on Linceville Road before we did the scrub seals. We fixed the base failures. I think over 20 plus places on that road where we had to go in and dig and put new base underneath it, and then we came in with plant mix. Then we came over the top of that with a scrub seal, and then we finished the fog seal last week. So that's one option right there. Lydia Corey and West Limestone School Road, we went in and we again fixed the base failures, went in and strip patched over it with plant mix, and then came over and filled the cracks with a crack seal compound, and then did a fog seal. So we did that both on Lydia Corey Road and West Limestone School Road. So you've got, these are pavement preservation techniques that we absolutely have to
do, since we don't have the money to go in and full scale put 2 inches of binder and an inch of seal material on top. So those are two different techniques that we can compare. My personal preference is the scrub seal. The scrub seal, the reason I like that is that it gets 100% of the cracks. You go in there with a rejuvenating emulsion and go in and distribute that out with the emulsion distributor, and you brush that into the cracks, and you get 100% of them. With the crack sealing material that we used on Lydia Court, West Limestone School Road, you don't have uniformity of look. You don't get 100% of the cracks. So my preference is Linceville Road. I think that has provided an acceptable alternative to plant mix, or what most people call blacktop. So look at those. We finished that. We've got the striping on Linceville Road. We don't have it on West Limestone and Lydia Quarry. Once they get that done, and we'll come through and put pavement markers or reflectors on that road, on all 3 of those roads, and then we'll be finished with it. We've got some shoulder work to do on Linceville Road yet, but the majority part of the projects are done. So that's all I have. And I will speak to the library. Ms. Knight, I appreciate you coming in and speaking, to all the others speaking. For the record, I was the one that was for keeping level funding at $80,000. And a lot of the reason, and full disclosure, I'm on the library foundation board. I'm not a trustee of the library, okay? That's a different, our responsibility is to raise funds for the library. And so I was for keeping it. Also, several of you mentioned that it may be done for this year. We always do budget revisions. There's a possibility to do a budget revision if the commissioners want to do that. We did that today. We did a budget revision to add a part-time for Council on Aging. So anything can be done. We're not just because we passed the budget last year. That's just the budget. We can always do budget revisions. So just wanted to point that out to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Harrison. First of all, I want to thank Ms. Knight for coming. In my tenure here, that's the first young child we've ever had come spoke, and it takes a lot of courage to get up there. I know. I mean, it does, and I remember this forever. You've been the first young one I've had. So, and I want to thank all the library folks for coming today. And we are looking at options with the library. We're looking into studies and all, and I mean, it's like I said, we're working on a plan. And next thing, I want to thank, Mr. Witt for what he's done with 53 Highway. 53 Highway has been one of the holdups that's kept the Ardmore area from really growing like it needs to. So with all that being said, I just want to thank everybody for being here today and thank the good Lord for the rain. And we'll recess until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, October the 16th, 2019 at the Washington Street Courthouse Annex, 310 West Washington Street, Athens, Alabama. Thank y'all.